Very strange.
Well, there was no detail in this news article at all. It's just the headline. Cocaine in the River Thames is another problem eels don't need.
Would somebody please think of the eels?
They have so many problems already.
Apparently so. Makes them hyperactive.
Well, no shit.
Gotta fucking do this again now.
I'm glad you fucked it.
Hello, I'm Ben, and I'm the type of person who thinks having a beard and a podcast is a personality, joined with Katie, a personality copycat, and Aaron, whose personality is grunting in different octaves. As we host a horse shit podcast with no real content, we'll be chatting about mundane life stories, zero useful content, and whatever other BuzzFeed article we can find. It's doom scrolling for your ear holes in this Quarterlife Quandary shit show.
Hi.
I should have put commas in this.
You should have put commas in it. Like,
there was a lot of opportunities to breathe, and you missed every single one.
I'd read it on your behalf, but one, I'd probably do it as bad or worse, and two, I wasn't expecting the character attack.
Yeah, the downright attack step, Ben.
What the hell?
Fair enough, you went for a suicide off the bat, but still, fuck you.
Last time I said, oh, I've been thinking of this joke intro, and you were like, oh, you should do it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm glad I wrote it down this time.
I mean, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, my first attempt at this was quite horrible, and I was like, no, this is too horrible.
Go on, give us the first draft.
Yeah, come on. There we go.
It's gone. I was.
What was I? What was my trait?
Yours was pretty much the same. Mine and Aaron's was horrible. But yeah, so
they're both accurate.
How's it all going?
So good. So good. I've lost any train of thought I had.
Well, since I normally forget what I've been doing, I've actually written it down this time. So I've been doing lots of social occasions. Started a new work project. I won a food competition, and at the exact same time of winning it, the wind blew. I was coming home from work, and I got the notification. And the wind caught the back gate, smashed my phone out of my hand, and broke the screen.
Oh.
I had my Wi-Fi drop out for over a week. And, Christmas presents. So, yeah,
God.
I'm very busy.
What cooking thing? What?
Oh, you know the vegan place in town?
Mm-hmm.
I won a £15 voucher.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love it there. I love it there so much.
So good.
I like meat.
I like meat, but I also really like their vegan food because it's amazing. And they seem to cater everything around here anyway, at the minute, which I'm not mad about. Because every time they're catering, it seems to be a different thing they bring with them.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice.
Like, I had the burger with their box meal, which is like mac and cheese, chips, the big fucking burger, hash browns in it. It was absolutely, I couldn't even finish it.
Speaking of vegan food and being vegan in general, I had the most dumb shit conversation at work recently, which just highlighted the most dumb shit carnivore argument I've ever heard, ever. And this work colleague, she wasn't joking. She was 100% dead set on this. She was like, if vegans hate meat, why do they keep calling it vegan chicken and vegan sausages? Firstly, sausage is not inherently meat. Like, it's not. That's not the meaty bit of the name. You can have pork sausages. You can have different variations of meat sausages, which would indicate that you could also have a veggie sausage. Like, firstly, that's stupid. And secondly, the argument that vegans hate meat, so why would they want their vegetables to be meat-shaped? Vegans don't hate meat. Most of the vegans I know would love a bit of bacon. They would love to yam down on a steak. It's the cruelty they hate, not the meat.
Mm.
So why do all people that are dead set on I'm not vegan, but people that are dead set on people being vegan and shoving it down their throats are like, well, if they hate me so much, what? That argument makes no sense to me.
Well, it's the same thing with like when people think back to 20 years ago. With this is how the vegetarians were getting it, and now no one really bats an eyelid if someone says a vegetarian, do they?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Fair swerve.
I don't know. People just want something to argue about sometimes, and then they're just misinformed. Most of the time, anyway. So, what you been doing, Aaron?
What have I been doing, Ben, is a very good question. It is a question that is made up of, well, the answer is made up of several different parts, consisting of several different
Why are you talking like a politician?
parts. Because my mind has gone blank, and I'm currently looking through some notes that I've made of recent.
Right, before we
Current
started, you were telling
events.
us about your child.
Oh yeah, that'll do. So yes, I have matured, and in my partnership with my my partner, we have decided to adopt children. I say adopt. We bought a child. So
Or the black market.
on the
Oh.
black market, it is a fluffy black kitten of approximately 5.5 months old.
Apologies, I think I had a small power cut and I'm now back.
So
We're just
yeah,
talking about the child that Aaron's bought online.
Oh, the kit.
yeah. So I know it sounds really seedy you saying it online, but it was through Gumtree. So yeah, I suppose you are factually correct.
That's where I got my car. That's where cars are bought.
That's where cars are born or bought.
Why not both? Yeah, I thought you had two of these.
We did have two. We did have two. There was unfortunately the boy one. We bought a brother and a sister, and I stereotypically thought that the boy was going to be the dick, but that is not the case. It turned out to be the girl, and there was some toilet issues and so on and such forth, and basically we ended up taking the girl back. But I requested to keep the boy. We took them both back together, and I requested to keep the boy, and the mum and dad said I could, so we kept the boy.
I am going off on a huge tangent right now, and I'm really sorry. But based on the pictures that you just shared of the cat, I think me and someone in your household might be having a very similar evening.
Okay. Let's have a quick look and see what. Oh yeah.
Literally the same level as well.
Yeah, she had today off studying for that.
For context, the background of the picture had some study for a course for like a level 2 diploma, and my bed looks exactly the same in terms of paperwork.
See, my mind went to the white statue behind with the tits out, and I was like, "What?"
No, I have the same course material like sprawled out on my bed. How funny.
So, yeah, where did I get to? Oh yeah, I was going to play the game of what stereo. So, my partner got to name the girl cat. I got to name the boy cat. She called the girl cat Mooser, as in a moose.
Mm-hmm.
And I called the boy cat. Would you like to take a guess, knowing me, what I called the boy cat?
My guess was apparently wrong because that's what you
So,
wanted to call a cat forever.
So go on, explain
Steve?
what I want. So yeah, I've always wanted to call a cat Steve and have my own Steve, but when I got this cat, I was like, he's not really a Steve.
Did you go with Aaron Jr.?
I was very tempted by Junior,
Is it
but
wrestling related?
I don't know.
You have like very few things that you'd name a cat after,
Okay, you're
and it's not
lukewarm.
called Big Titty Bitch. So
Okay, you're lukewarm. So yeah, okay, you're heading in the right direction.
Ben, it's your turn.
I was trying to think of a name for a Fallout character, but I can't think
No,
of one.
you're right.
Is it
You're
dog
right
meat?
you're right along the wrestling sort of line. So go on.
I don't know wrestlers. Hulk Hogan?
That's
no.
not one of Aaron's wrestlers.
I don't fucking know.
Oh.
I'm not his mum cleaning up his pants. I don't know.
I just
Triple
want to hear
H?
Ben name wrestlers.
The Rock?
No.
The Rock.
No, the
know.
right kind of era though.
No, I know.
Is it the guy with the sock? Oh, what was his name?
No, Mick Foley. No.
The way that you immediately knew that is
The Undertaker?
It isn't the Undertaker. No, I didn't call the cat the Undertaker. No, but that isn't a bad idea.
Is he getting a name change now?
I'm just searching. I'm just searching all my group chats with Aaron for the words "my boy."
I can't think of what the other ones are called.
I'm actually kind of disappointed in Katie because obviously I don't mention this guy enough, so I need to start mentioning him a hell of a lot more.
I don't want it to be Jericho.
I
But
was about to say Jericho was the other one I was thinking.
Do you want to go with that?
yeah.
Come here, Jericho. Jericho. My boy is called Jericho.
Oh.
So I have a question, which was actually one of my topics, which has quite led nicely into this. So, do pets love us, or are they in a form of Stockholm syndrome?
Dogs, yes. Cats, no. Wait, that made no sense. Dogs love us because they're stupid and dopey and pure and great. Cats have like a symbiotic relationship with us where we think we're their owners and we scoop their shit and give them food.
And in their brains, we're the pets.
Yeah.
Semi-agree with you with this, but so we had both the cats for about 2 weeks before we decided to potentially take them back. So we went back to their parents, both the human and the cat parents, biological parents, and we did take back the girl cat because she just wasn't. We weren't connecting with her. She wasn't vibing with us. She didn't like us. We kind of knew it. So we took them both back. I opened up the cat carrier. The girl cat jumped out, immediately just shot off into the house. The boy cat jumped out, Jericho. His mum and his dad, both the human and the cat variety, both came to say hello to him. He said hello to his parents. He said hello to his remaining brothers and sisters that were still there. Then immediately came back and stayed by my side.
Mm.
So the girl cat literally just fucked off, and that was it. And didn't even bother like saying bye, Felicia, or nothing. But Jericho stayed by my side, and I was like, kind of want to keep him. And they're like, we can kind of tell that he does like you because he's literally stayed beside you. He said hello to his mum and dad, and that is literally it. And when I opened the cat carrier, he literally just walked back in. I was like, well, there we go. He wants to come home. So,
Aww.
yeah. I'd say a little bit of yes, but a little bit of no.
I think all pets have an owner that they love, and then the rest of it's like, yeah.
I tolerate
I'm
you.
Stuck with you guys.
Yeah, I tolerate you. That is it. Yeah, pets are weird. I mean, you've got a variety of animals, Ben. Have you ever actually introduced yourselves to them?
What do you mean?
Have you ever
You know
told
how
them your
you
name?
yeah, have you told them your name?
No. No.
Rude.
Yeah, rude as fuck.
It can continue
Rude.
calling me master of the house. It's
My
fine.
dog was called Ben. It genuinely was.
Ben, take that however you want.
Well, I was 5 when I got to name him, and I might have been 4. Anyway, I was in like year 1 or 2, and we were reading a kid's book that had characters called Sam the fox and Ben the dog. So that's the only name that I knew for a dog.
I was searching up like proper people's names and I've told you before, like all of my animals are now named after Greek mythology.
When I
Okay.
When I
Yeah,
had like a bunch of mantises, I kept giving them like PC or like just technology names like Byte and Pixel and stuff. And then I ended up getting too many mantises, and I just called one Greg. God, I got so sick of thinking of names. I was like, that's Greg. He does nothing.
After a certain point, you just have to go with the number system, surely.
Well,
Or
I had
planets.
9. I had 9 at one time. Maybe I think that was the most I had at one time. But yeah, I got sick of naming them, and I forgot their names. I had too many because I also had like a bunch of millipedes and some fucking assassin beetles and some other shit as well. So like names were no longer an option for them.
yeah.
Well, the worst thing about this not the worst thing about this cost of living crisis, that absolutely underplays it. This is a first world problem. I can't have bugs right now because I cannot afford to keep my room hot enough consistently enough to give them any kind of quality of life.
Yeah.
So sad. RIP to anyone that owns like reptiles or anything that needs additional heat sources.
Yeah. We were talking about getting a what's the one that can go on land? Turtle.
I was having this fucking conversation at work today, weirdly, because someone was talking about them, and they were like, "Oh, Katie had weird animals. She probably knows some stuff about these." And I was like, "Absolutely not, my friend. For a really long time, as a child, I could not tell the difference between a turtle and a tortoise, so I just referred to them collectively as like a tortoise." I just used the word tortoise to describe both of them. And then I got a little bit older, and someone told me that tortoises had toes instead of flippers. So I just started calling them turtles and tortoise. So that I'd remember.
That's pretty good, to be fair. Yeah, so we were looking
Tortoise
at
land, turtle war.
Yeah, we were looking at a tortoise, but like you said, with the lamp and all that, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And the dog hates fucking anything, so...
Well, tell him to stop fucking things then.
It's not even that. We had a rabbit for a little while, but he was just pestering the rabbit, so we were just like, gotta get rid of the rabbit.
Someone I know that had a tortoise kept losing it, so they tied a balloon to it.
That's fair. But what happens when the balloon deflates?
They had literally one of those like little party tanks of helium that you can get for like £10 at Asda. And just got like the lightest, crappiest balloons, and like, because he wasn't always outside of his enclosure, it was just... I don't know why they let him out, but they let him free roam around the house a bunch, and had to like tie a balloon to him because he'd get under the sofa, and then the cat would get curious and start trying to fish him out.
I mean, in the summer you can let him just chill out in the garden.
Tried that multiple times, and a hawk tried to make off with him.
Oh wow!
Like a red kite, or I think it was actually a kestrel, because red kites are stupid. But I think a kestrel came down and tried to take it. But no, red kites are genuinely the worst hunters. They're like, they gather scraps from bigger birds. So I'm pretty sure it's a kestrel. But yeah, and plus they live for like ever. Don't get a tortoise. They're stupid pets.
Well, we weren't looking to get a new one. We were going to look to get a second-hand one. Yeah, like
all of them are second-hand. They live like 100 years, dude.
That's what I mean. We were going to look to adopt one who's
like 60 at least.
Yeah, we want to outlive this tortoise.
You know you said tortoise, didn't you?
Tortoise.
It's just easier than remembering. Just everything's a tortoise. They live for so long. This is what put me off getting a tarantula, because I can't remember what the difference was between male and female spiders. I think it was the males that died earlier, but
Yeah.
it was like a male spider. I was going to get a Mexican redknee, and like the males live a couple of years, like low commitment pet, will die like by the time that you're like, oh, I remember I hate spiders. But the female ones live for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And the only way to get them cheap is unsexed. So like
Yeah.
when they're too small to sex, so you like just play the spider lottery.
Yeah, our friend of the podcast who always listens to us has got a red knee, and it is a girl. So he
Well,
got that
yeah,
for a long time.
they're just like, they seem like a good, easy, not easy, but like definitely an entry level spider, like a beginner spider. And I was like, I will try my hand at this, because if I have a pet, I have to feed it, which means I have to open it, which means I have to get the fuck over it. But yeah, bottled it, absolutely bottled it.
Well, you say that. I had a hamster when I was young, and I never ever managed to touch it like with the cage open because I was scared it was going to rip my arm off.
Well, that's like fine, because contrary to popular belief, I'm pretty sure they don't like being handled.
No, they don't.
And people just do it because they're like, oh, small child pet.
Hamster.
I don't never understand why people get kids goldfish as a starter pet. It's so stupid. They just get like the tiniest tank and plop a goldfish in and go, that's fine, it's a goldfish. This is how they live. No, it's not. They get huge.
I was about to say the same thing with a hamster. Why would you put a nocturnal animal into some kid's room?
Oh yeah, because my dumbass like 9-year-old self always got it out after school, and he'd be like, I am still sleeping. I would literally lift the bedding up and be like, you up yet? You wanna eat some fucking Garibaldi biscuits? Because I just feed it Garibaldi biscuits.
What the fuck is a Garibaldi biscuit?
Have you not? Is it Garibaldi?
What the fuck is that?
Garibaldi's. Google it right now. It's like a currant biscuit. That's how this transpired. Was we had a packet on the table, and I was excited about my new hamster, and I brought the hamster down and put it on the table, and like moments later the hamster was nowhere to be seen, and it had like tunneled through these biscuits and ate his way to like the bottom of the pack. So we were like, I guess he likes it. No concern for its well-being, just fed it Garibaldi. We actually we lost him once because he was the Houdini of hamsters, like hamster Houdini. He would, like the little latch mechanisms on the wire cages.
Yeah.
He'd managed to like pry that open with his teeth, and he was on like a shelf about 3 or 4 foot off the ground, and just launched himself onto the floor. And I was like, that's it, the hamster's dead somewhere, fantastic. A week goes by, and all I hear is like on the floorboards. Like I hear scratching on the floorboards, and I'm like, oh my god, the hamster's under the house. This is terrible. He'd got in like down where the boiler pipe goes under in the airing cabinet. And they're like, Dad was like, you should just probably forget about that hamster. We'll just get you a new one when you're over the grief or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm not giving up. So I got like a cooler box, and without ice in it, obviously, and filled it up with bedding. And I got a dinner tray and a cooling rack, and I like taped them together to make a ladder for the hamster, and led it going up to this cooler. And I put a trail of Garibaldi biscuits from the hole that I assumed he'd gone through up this ladder. And I was like so young, and Dad humoured me and went, that's very creative of you, don't expect it to work. And then 2 days later the hamster's just looking up at us like, what?
Sup?
It absolutely against all odds worked. But yeah, definitely not a child-friendly starter pet.
Definitely not.
I know like millipedes aren't up everyone's street, but like a giant African millipede, hands down, is the best starter pet. Kids love bugs most of the time. Like I think kids genuinely have an interest in bugs, and they basically eat soil and cucumber. Like they are so low maintenance.
So, Here's another thing for you, which I saw the other day. I found quite interesting. What animal has stripes but doesn't know it?
Us.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Why'd you know this?
Because I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I ruined the thing.
Go on, explain.
We'd be terrible on QI. They're called blaschko's lines. I'm assuming that pronunciation's correct.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a result of the way the fetus develops within the womb. I should really start reading this stuff before I announce. But basically, they're invisible to us, but I think cats can see them.
Yeah. Is it under blacklight that you can see them? No, because I have a blacklight. Like,
No,
literally next
I think it's under like UV.
I have one. Like
Is it
a
UV?
UV and blacklight aren't too dissimilar.
I can't remember what it is, but basically, and some animals can see it, but we can't. There are a lot of skin and other diseases that then show it up. So if you look it up online, you can see pictures of it, and with people who've had melanin problems where they start to appear.
Well, I can tell you wholeheartedly that it is not under UV light, and if it is, I don't have them because I'm currently
Everyone
in the
has
dark. Yeah, but I've got like a black light. It's definitely not that because I am shining a black light on my torso in the dark right now, and nada. Do not ask why I have the black light, or do. Hang on, shit.
Or why you're sat in the dark with no clothes on.
I'm wearing a t-shirt. My torso
okay.
isn't naked. Holy crap. Yeah, nada. Puts black light back in handbag.
They're a genetic code and can only be seen under UV light. They have a V pattern and kind of swirls. Supposedly cats can see them.
I need to know if my light is UV or if it's black light, or if they're the same thing and I'm stupid.
I didn't think the black light...
It is UV, UVA. Why don't I have stripes, Ben?
But is the black light UVA the same as being able to see in UV?
I don't know. Bear in mind, this is literally just a flashlight. This isn't like a huge black light. It's just one that I carry around with me.
You know,
so
the usual sort of need of a black light.
There isn't quite a difference, but a misunderstanding of terms. Black light is UVA light, while UV light is composed of UAV, UVB, and UVC.
Because, like, I guess UV is also... There's a lot of UV.
That's what I'm saying. So a black light is only UVA, but there's also A, B, and C, which you don't. So you don't see B and C.
Okay.
Or standard UV, apparently.
I was really excited to see stripes under my torch.
So there's 4 parts to ultraviolet: A, B, C, and vacuum UV. So I don't know what that means.
Well, I tried. I tried to do an experiment in my bedroom. Sounded better in my head than out loud.
Well, we'll print you some stickers off for being such a good scientist.
Thanks. I just carry it because I want to find uranium glass in charity shops.
That's a valid reason. I would have said it was looking for stains if you have an OCD.
Oh no. I just want cool radioactive e-glass in my life. I always forget to bring it and then go to a charity shop and see all this green glass, and whenever I remember to bring it with me, nothing.
There was some uranium. Is it uranium glass? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
In that shop that we keep talking about in the next town over.
I know, yeah. I keep looking for it because I don't want to pay their prices, because what they have done is absolutely go on like a charity shop spree and found it.
Oh, 100%.
which means I'm unlikely to find it in the local area because they probably do that quite regularly. But that's also where I got my human bones from.
Your human bones. Oh,
My
you've told us about this.
human bones, yeah. I have 3 now. I have 2 ribs and a vertebrae.
You know, you can just go digging up grave sites.
I won't be doing that though.
Yeah,
if
but
it's
it's a
all the
lot
same.
cheaper.
Well, I actually the 2 that I got, the first 2 that I got, are in the weird like plastic vacuumy frame things, were from that shop, and weirdly, the second rib that I got, although much smaller, was from an insect and like invertebrate show. Like I went to an invertebrate show a couple of towns over, and they were just had bones and human skulls, which were like £800. But
why? But where do they get them?
well, the ones that I've got are like from Victorian medical specimens. Like,
Oh, okay.
you know how all the skeletons in science rooms are plastic or like plaster cast.
So you're all right with someone else stealing it as long as. At what point does it become
Grave robbing?
okay?
I don't know. Well, these were definitely for a fact the first 2 that I got were from like medical sculptures, like that they use in science rooms to show the anatomy, which I assume were either A, grave robbed a very, very, very long time ago, or donated to science.
That's what I'm saying. At what point is it all right? Just,
I don't know.
It's been 200 years. It's fine.
I don't know.
Okay, so when is it acceptable for an archaeologist to start digging up your body?
That's a very loaded question. I feel like ages determine, like eras. I don't know.
You need
A
to be in a
turn of the
different
era. Yeah. Because, like, exhuming Victorian skeletons would probably still be weird, though, today. If they weren't, like, medical sculptures, because they were, you'd be confident, at least partially, that those were donated or offered up willingly by the family or something. But I think if you were just to exhume a Victorian grave because you wanted to see how they lived, would still be weird today.
I disagree. But
like, what would the good reason be to exhume a Victorian grave?
I don't know.
Development in the area.
Like, I'm like, I'm not being funny. My nan lived in current times and was only born 23 years after the end of the Victorian era. So, like, are we too close to the Victorian era? Granted, she was 98, but I don't know, it just feels very close. What would be the good reason be to dig up those bones?
I don't know. It was just...
It's like if my nan had been born 23 years earlier, we could dig up her bones that say she died 20 years ago.
Okay,
we could dig up her bones today to see how she lived.
Let's say they have to be buried for 100 years before it's kind of socially acceptable to dig them up again. For whatever reason. Say, let's just go with archaeological.
I don't know, I feel like there needs to be a good reason, though. Like, what... I feel like now that records are more accurate and kept up to date and stuff, there's no real reason to exhume bones and stuff. Like, because there's no invested interest to be, like, trying to work out how this person died or how this person lived.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because it's pretty well documented. Also, fun fact, did you know, like, most cemetery plots are only bought for 99 years?
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I did hear that. You can, and if the graves aren't well maintained or well kept or what have you, they can chuck another body in.
Well, there you go. That's the exact reason. It's 99 years. You've had your time.
Yeah, my granddad bought a tomb, as it were. You know, like when you go to London cemeteries and there's like graves upon graves, and then there's like the secret locked room that just has drawers in it that you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently my granddad bought one of those for when my nan passed, and she's going in there with him in London.
That's mad.
I know.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what's even worse with that? Most of the time you have to pay to change over the name.
Yeah, we've got to pay 200 and something, I think.
Which is bullshit. He's already paid, and now you
No.
got to pay again.
No, do you know what is bullshit? That we have to pay like 80 something pounds for a doctor to come in and go, yep, she's definitely dead, before they cremate her. And we were like, that's a bit of a BS charge. And they were like, oh yeah, well, since all that Harold Shipman business, we were like, dude, chill. It's been a week.
Oh god.
Yeah, she was very blunt about the whole ordeal. Yeah.
There's another thing as well, like with that, is they won't let you cremate someone, and if they have to contact the police as well.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no like current investigation going on.
Because of all the Harold Shipman business, am I right?
Well, no, because there's another reason to exhume a body is to reinvestigate it for foul play. But if you've cremated it, ta-ra.
Yeah, true. Speaking of cemeteries, I can have you need to see that I made a genuine attempt at giving a crap about the podcast because I have a whiteboard now. But as usual, it makes little to no sense. Ignore that lotion.
First thing I'm going to look at is the lotion.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Great note taking, as always. But speaking of cemeteries, have you heard about the it was in the East End, where was it? The water pump. The Aldgate pump. Anyone heard about this?
No, I've not heard
no,
about it.
fantastic, good interaction. Glad you're here. Anyway, it was put there in, I think it was 1876, and it was a trusted watering hole for Londoners since like the Roman times. And in, I think it was 1860, the water was described as tasting like refreshing and had an agreeable taste, and everyone was like, oh my god, this water tastes fucking amazing. And it's because it had an unusually high calcium content, and everyone was like loving this water so much that everyone was using this pump. But the water was coming all the way from Hampstead in North London down to East London, and it passed through the Hampstead's newly constructed cemetery.
Nice.
And when it passed through that cemetery, it was just corpse juice. It was just corpse juice. And it started like an epidemic of killing people, and no one knew why.
So when was this?
1860.
Oh, okay. I thought this was recent.
No. 1860. The report showed that the water contained 5 times the normal quantity of solids. Now, personally, I think any amount of solids in water is probably.
Well, there's always solids in water.
But 5 times the normal amount. But hundreds of people died horrific deaths after drinking like cadaver juice.
Then again, wasn't there that? Was it a coffin or a tomb?
Yeah, the coffin
opened up a few years ago, and they're like
the forbidden juice.
There's some liquid at the bottom of this.
Oh, speaking of forbidden juice, did you see that they just fucking unearthed a virus to see if it was deadly, and they were like, "Oh, yep, it's deadly. Well, can't fucking put it back into freeze now."
There's a good reason for that. With global warming happening, or climate change. Sorry, I'm stuck 15 years ago. If that all defrosts anyway and releases all of these viruses before we get a chance to look at it.
No, it is a very, very good point. But like, you can't permafreeze something that you've just taken out of permafreeze. And they were like, "Is it deadly?" "Oh yeah, it must be. We've called it the fucking zombie virus."
But then it's not, as I said, they've taken it out to.
Oh no, for good reason.
It.
But I feel like there's a lot going on already, man.
Yeah, but it's not like they've got it out and then stuck it in your ice cubes. They haven't put a well over it and said, "Oh, you can drink here."
Well, they did in 1860.
That's such bad luck.
There's also I don't know why I went on like a spree of just like creepy stuff in London, but like there's so much history.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other water pump that killed fucking 616 people in 3 days was in Soho, and people were basically drinking sewage from this water pump, and no one knew what was happening. They didn't realise what was going on until like one person went, maybe we should see if they've got some common ground. They'd all drunk from this pump and just died of cholera.
I mean, you know, it can happen.
Yeah. Well, basically, they just had this outbreak of cholera and they just didn't know why. They were like, no one's drinking from the poo water anymore. Why is this happening? And then realised they just had a water pump in Soho connected directly to the poo water.
Oh, aren't we talking about the... Hold on, what time period is this? 1860? Isn't this before they realised that, hygiene is a massive issue?
Well, they knew cholera was a thing, but...
Isn't this at the time they were still pumping raw sewage into the Thames?
It was the 19th century, yeah. So they were pumping raw sewage into the Thames, but they had this like clean drinking water in this pump for this well, but all of the sewage had made it directly into the lines.
Yeah, because they were still like throwing shitty water into the street, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's crazy how far we've come.
In like not a long amount of time either.
No, it's really not.
Like there's still bits of grim history around London. So you know Tower Bridge, the one that everyone thinks is London Bridge?
Yeah.
They there's like a little bit under, there's like a little stairway if you ever find yourself in London, and there's a little stairway that you see that kind of leads to nowhere, towards like from the inside of the bridge to the outside of the bridge if you're looking at it like as if you're walking along it on the underneath. And the stairway kind of goes to like a linoleum tiled archway, and there's like a little, like there's water behind it as well. So basically loads of corpses were just fucking washing up in this little bit of the bridge, in this little corner of the edge of the bridge. And there were so many corpses just washing up because that's how the River Thames was flowing, that they built a morgue under the bridge, which is still there today. There's still a morgue under Tower Bridge, just for dead body storage until they could work out what to do with all these bodies and like identify them and see if there was any foul play or anything. But the morgue got so full that the bodies were still just piling up under the bridge. So they had it tiled, because everywhere else around there is cobbled. And they had it tiled because it was way easier to clean the exploded gas-ridden, like the bloated corpses would just explode with gas. And they were like, we might as well make it wipe clean. So they just tiled it. And it's still tiled today for that reason. They just didn't change it afterwards.
That's fair.
Thought that was a fun fact. It's not a fun fact, it's a morbid fact, but I found it interesting.
It'd be interesting to know how many bodies still wash up out of the Thames.
What, still to this day?
Yeah. It's got to be at least four a year, surely.
There's got to be a bunch. Like, do you not remember at that festival? Were you there at that time? The August one? Where we were on the boat going to work and there was just fucking cops at the end at where we were getting off the boat. Okay, there was one uniformed police officer and one who was an undercover, but his undercover was wearing a tiger onesie. That was his undercover. And they just were waiting for us all to get off the boat because a body had been found in the Thames. And they were like, do you have anything to do with this? We were like, absolutely not. They were like, okay, just let us go. I'm guessing by your silence you were not there that year.
I did not know. But I was searching the fact that the Thames can be deadly. On average, 50 people each year die in the Thames.
It's because it's not even disgusting. The Thames isn't dirty. Secondary fun fact. There's just a lot of sediment that makes it look horrifically dirty.
There's also lots of cocaine in there as well.
Probably.
It is. They did testing on it years ago, and apparently it's fucking up all the eels.
Don't make Teenagers drink Thames water, man. Oh.
Katie, I hate to break it to you, I very much doubt that we have the target audience of teenagers listening to this podcast.
True. Also, teenagers don't do coke anymore. It's ketamine.
Yep.
Oh, was it circle back round to ketamine? I thought that was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know.
that the last time that I went to said festival, on the last night, where it's always chaos, and it's
Oh, that guy that
amazing.
tried to like make a fucking Buki speedball.
Yeah, and it was just a load of people just monging out on ket. It was a bit boring.
What had he tried to do? He tried to take ketamine and something else to level himself out.
Yeah.
And he was just so aggressive for like so long, and then he was like, Are you stranded? Can I help you get home? Here, use my phone. Like, just complete personality switch.
Very strange. Very strange.
Well, there was no detail in this news article at all. It's just the headline: "Cocaine in the River Thames is another problem Eels don't need."
Would somebody please think of the eels?
They have so many problems already.
Apparently so. Makes them hyperactive.
Well, no shit.
That led me on to a whole thing of what chemicals are found in rivers. It is massive.
All I can think of is that clip where it's like they're putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay.
Where is it? I hate websites now where it's like, please accept the cookies. Please accept
all
our
of
terms
them.
and conditions. It's just like,
Every
fuck
single one
off.
of them.
It's every single one.
Well, have my last fun morbid fact while we wait, which is which I think it's just south of Rome. I'm not Rome. Yes, Rome in Italy. They were excavating to build a McDonald's, and a Roman road was discovered while they were excavating. And they found just like a skeleton wedged in one of the gutters. And they were like, well, we can't really move it, but we still want to build the McDonald's. So they just put glass over it.
Oh, that's fair. What can you see when you sat at McDonald's?
Yeah, so there's just like...
Oh, that's cool.
I'll find a picture. There's just a skeleton McDonald's with a Roman... It's like a Roman road with glass slabs put over it as the floor now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to go there.
Wouldn't you rather that than just being buried in the ground, like in a cemetery?
100%.
Like you get buried under a McDonald's with a glass ceiling.
And like, they seem so blasé about it in the picture I sent. They're just like, oh yeah, this is normal. This is completely not me walking on a Roman corpse. This is fine. Let me just carry my fucking Big Mac.
I'm stuck behind a paywall.
Oh.
Of life. Yeah, I feel that
Of
way.
life and Google adverts, and if you want to read this, you need to pay us some money.
Fucking hate paywalls, and there is a workaround, and I don't remember what it is, or I tried to do it and it was convoluted and I lost interest. Is it the Evening Standard?
It's the Telegraph.
Cocaine in the River Thames is another problem Eels don't need. They're so riddled with problems. They've got a lot of stress. Cocaine is being washed into the River Thames is another problem which eels do not need, a wildlife expert said today. Mike Waller, a conservation ecologist for the London Wildlife Trust, told of his concerns for the freshwater fish's population after reports suggested drugs were making them hyperactive. So it's just another thing on top of the fact that they've really struggled with the general population. Thinking of troubled eels.
Don't think about the poor eels. Who would think of the poor eels?
He added, people don't give it a second thought. What we would say really is think about what you're putting down the toilet.
Yeah, it is. Because obviously you know that they've been dropping sewage into rivers recently.
Mm-hmm.
But like something like 20% gets diverted to rivers. And obviously, any chemical you ingest comes out in one way or another. So, like all of the chemicals you ingest, so things like beta blockers, antibiotics, antidepressants, sleeping medication, antihistamines, plastics, whatever else you chuck down the toilet, all just ends up in rivers.
And make McDonald's Sprite.
You don't need to know about your kinks, Katie.
People flushing things down the toilet that they shouldn't flush down the toilet always brings me back to like thinking about flushable wipes, because everyone's like, "Oh, I don't flush baby wipes down the toilet. I use flushable wipes," and it's just like the word flushable isn't regulated.
No.
There is no
Such thing as a flushable
such
wipe.
thing as a flushable wipe. Like a lot of flushable wipes on the back say flush one wipe at a time, and some of them say do not flush down a toilet. It's not a regulated term. Anyone can use it. Look, I've made a flushable TV remote. There you go. Market that.
They even is this the same with like the recycling symbol on the back of stuff? That means nothing. It means they've paid a levy.
Yeah. Like saying something is flushable does not mean that it should be flushed. It means that sure you can flush it. It will go down.
The other thing I hate is allergen warnings now,
Such as
like my son's got celiac, so we can't have anything gluten, and everything has got a little caveat at the bottom: may contain gluten.
Ugh.
It's like it either has or it hasn't.
Have you seen how genuinely fascinating gluten detection dogs are? They'll they'll sniff a plate of food and they'll just like boop you on the leg if it's okay to eat.
I saw this with a pizza
Yeah.
on TikTok. Yeah.
Gluten detection dogs.
Yeah. Genuine thing.
That's mad.
Yeah.
He must hate it in France.
I ate a lovely gluten-free toastie yesterday because I tried for the first time. I've known about it for a while, but I've never tried it. The Too Good To Go thing.
Oh yeah, we've done that.
Freaking amazing!
Yeah.
I got like three Starbucks toasties and a shortbread cookie for like £4.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We've done it a few times with Greg.
Yeah, like £2.50, can't go wrong.
Good if you had access to the airport.
Right.
You get all the restaurants up there. Yeah.
I next time I fly out of that airport, I'm definitely grabbing a couple of bags for the plane.
Is it a time dependent thing? Is it not only when they're closing?
I picked up my Starbucks one at like 3 p.m. I think they do a couple of slots throughout the day.
Because next time I'm flying is going to be like 6 a.m. I don't think it's going to be active at that time.
They do if they're open overnight.
I don't think they do.
They don't. I worked there. But they could be doing like stock rotation from the day before. I've worked at some places where the stock gets rotated just before you open because the shift before had to do clean down. So it's like fairer if the day shift do the stock rotation.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Let me have a look at some of the airport ones.
Right, Aaron, anything you want to add?
Anything I want to add?
Because we're at 54 minutes and I feel like we've talked enough. I've had enough. I want to go to bed.
Anything I want to add? So this is Christmas.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That song just makes me think of the fucking Eternal Snail now, man.
What have you done? Another year is nearly over.
I've done a lot this year.
I've done
busy.
Fuck all, man.
I have done a lot as well.
I had a really calm year.
Well, I've met the love of my life.
Aww.
I've moved house.
Yeah.
I've got a child.
A cat, yeah.
I've changed jobs.
Mm-hmm.
He drives
Yeah.
escorts around.
Mm-hmm.
I left the country for the first time.
Wait, no, I can't talk about on the pod. Yeah, I can't talk about that here. Carry on.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah, you've been
Okay.
you've been a very busy boy. I'm sure you've done loads, Katie. You just been put on the spot.
I can't think of anything of note. I've just had a really calm year, just being happy, being me. Because like before this, I was kind of out every weekend and like no direction, no anything, just living weekend to weekend. And I'm kind of happy to not be doing that. I've never been so content to stay in of a weekend and just exist because I finally kind of appreciate my own company now.
Oh, that's good.
So I guess in terms of personal development, for sure, definitely done stuff.
Makes it sound very old saying it like that.
It does, it does. But the fact that it took nearly 30 years for me to, not hate my own company is interesting.
It's all right,
I've also gamed a bunch, dude.
You've gained a bunch.
Gamed. But also, yes. I've basically played Phasmophobia for a year straight at this point.
Should be pro at it by now.
Nope. Never said I was good. Ooh.
All right. Anything you want to add, Kay?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Well, let's get the fuck off of this then.
Bye.
Fucking see ya.
Bye, Aaron, I guess. Fucking hell.
What? Bye.
Oh, Aaron. Where's your facts?
Where's your fucking number fact, dude?
Oh.
You ain't prepared, are you?
You don't even know what number podcast it is, do you? Don't look at the URL. Don't look at the URL. Don't look at it.
How dare you?
Don't look at the URL.
I know what number podcast it is.
What number?
32.
26.
You looked at the fucking.
You get one fact, and you've got a minute to find it.
26 also gives the number of complete miles in a marathon. 26 miles and 385 yards to be exact. The number of letters in the Latin alphabet.
And
the age at which males can no longer be drafted in the United States military.
Yeah, okay.
That was about what I expected. Yeah. God, we suck.
Get some. Right, it's 27 next time, Aaron. Get one good fact, please.
Whoa, those are good facts.
Yeah, sure.
I need you to be counting like you've got 27 pubic hairs on one testicle. That's the kind of facts I need.
I want you to harvest 27 by next podcast.
Harvest?
Oh, no, you haven't
own.
even think about it. 27.
Oh, the 27 Club.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see if he remembers this for next time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Ta-ra.
Bye.
Bye.